It's a brand new stream, it's a brand new day, it's a brand new thing. Let me explain what we're gonna do. You know, how cool would it be to, show these videos on stream, watch it together with you, and how better would it be to not just watch these videos, because you can watch these videos anywhere. But watch these videos in a theme, in a subject, in something that doesn't have a clear answer. That is why number 1 is called Jaina is a Dreadlord. This is a running joke. I think Jesse Cox was the first one to drop it, and it was just picked up at BlizzCon, and everybody was like, "Ooh, Jaina's a Dreadlord." But the real idea behind it is, after the Siege of Orgrimmar, where Jaina said, "We must dismantle the Horde," a lot of people were like, "Oh, you bitch. Oh, no, you didn't. You did not just say dismantle the Horde." And I feel that a lot of people that say that Jaina is crazy because of that statement, I feel I don't agree with that. I think that in that moment, Jaina was the most realistic character present, and actually very well done in the storyline. And I feel that either people didn't catch the entire storyline, or people just have a very different opinion than me, and that's fine. These are not to change your opinion. These are not to bash on the Horde. These are not to say you are wrong and I'm right. These are to look at a subject that does not have a definitive answer and see why I think about a certain subject and fill that up with videos. So what do you think, chat room? Is that something that sounds like fun? I hope so, because we're going to do it anyways. I prepared a whole script and everything. Yes, yes, ... yes, sure. So let me just say, before we begin, this is not to bash on the Horde. This is to show Jaina's side of things, and this is to show why I think that it was a very realistic response to dismantle the Horde. So, let me grab my script, and let's make this official, shall we? Hello everyone. See, you gotta start it right. You gotta start it right. And welcome to my very first lore stream. Here I want to discuss topics that I just did that. Let's skip that. To understand why Jaina said what she said, let's first take a look at the story of Jaina Proudmoore. This is just a warning. This is one of the older videos that I have. I like to believe that my quality improved over the years. I like to believe so. But we're gonna find out, shall we? Alrighty, it's the story of Jaina Proudmoore, and it has been a while since I made this, so let's find out. Let's begin with a story of Jaina Proudmoore, and hopefully it's gonna play. Let's find out. Beta with Noble the Noble.
You spit on mercy?
Jaina Proudmoore was born before the First War and is the youngest child of Admiral Dalin Proudmoore. She was sent to Dalaran when her magical talent was discovered, and she badgered Antonidas into accepting her as an apprentice, eventually becoming one of the few female wizards in direct service to Dalaran. Jaina and Prince Arthas met, became friends, and eventually fell in love. They were even engaged until Arthas would question whether the two of them were ready to be together. Arthas abruptly ended the relationship so Jaina could focus on her magical studies in Dalaran, and Arthas could focus on his commitments to Lordaeron. Jaina was hurt by this, but did not fight him. Many years later, Antonidas was visited by the prophet Medivh, who told Antonidas that he should take his people west to Kalimdor. Antonidas dismissed the prophet as nothing more than a madman. Jaina had been eavesdropping and disagreed with Antonidas. She thought that they should listen to the warning, but Antonidas sent her to meet Arthas and investigate the plague that was sweeping over northern Lordaeron. Jaina met up with Arthas and Uther the Lightbringer, and they found out that it was the tainted grain that was infecting the people and turning them into undead. They were too late to stop the people of Stratholme from eating the grain, and something had to be done. Arthas was in favor of slaughtering the people, but Uther could not condone murdering helpless people. Arthas accused Uther of treason for not following his order. He demanded that any true to the king stayed with him and see to the town's destruction. Jaina turned and followed Uther to Arthas' surprise. Jaina and Uther returned to Stratholme's burning ruins after Arthas had finished with it. She was appalled at what she saw. Jaina was visited by the prophet Medivh, and he urged her to take the people she could with her to the west, fleeing Lordaeron and her home country of Culturas. She realized that he had been right and decided to follow his words. She left just as the invasion of Lordaeron began, saving thousands of citizens before they met their doom. Jaina took her people to Kalimdor, saw that orcs were there, and she fought with Garrosh Hellscream and his army. She had to retreat into the mountains of Stone Talon Peak, where she sensed the great power, and inside she found Thrall and Cairn. They were about to battle until the Prophet Medivh confronted them. He implored them all to ally with each other in order to survive the might of the Burning Legion. Reluctantly, Jaina agreed. Eventually they met up with the leaders of the Night Elves, Malfurion Stormrage and Tyrande Whisperwind. They all agreed to defend Mount Hyjal together. With the combined strength of the humans, orcs, taurens and Night Elves, they managed to defeat Archimonde and stop the invasion. After the defeat of the Legion, Jaina took her refugees to an island outpost off the eastern coast of Kalimdor, newly named Theramore. This was close to the newly founded orc nation Durotar. Attacks were made on the orcs and trolls by humans, and Rexxar was asked by Thrall to deliver a letter to Jaina, to see what was going on. Jaina denied all knowledge and later on discovered that her father, Dalin Proudmoore, had decided to pay her a visit. Jaina was in despair. While she felt the loyalty to her father and her nation, her experience with the Scourge and the Legion convinced her that petty hatreds and vendettas, such as her father's, were immaterial in the grand scheme. Jaina helped the Horde gain ships from goblins and ordered her own troops to stand down when they assaulted Theramore. Jaina's last words to her father were to ask why he didn't listen.
Father, why wouldn't you listen?
Jaina and Varian Rin met during the problems he had with Onyxia. She was the one who helped him remember his true identity, and she helped him with bringing Onyxia to justice. And the Wrath of the Lich King. Bolvar Fordragon is murdered at the Wrathgate, and King Varian Rin prepares his forces of the Alliance for all-out war against the Horde. Desperate to avoid a war, Jaina teleports to Orgrimmar to uncover the truth of the recent events in Northrend. She learns that the Horde is no longer in control of Undercity, and, together with Varian, she tries to take back Old Lordaeron for the Alliance. Inside, the forces of the Alliance meet with the forces of the Horde. Before they can attack, Jaina freezes everyone in the room and teleports the Alliance back to Stormwind. Secrets of Ulduar. Bran Bronzebeard finds out that Yogg-Saron has escaped his prison. Ronin and Jaina call a conference of the Alliance and Horde leaders. Things take a turn for the worst when Thrall and Garrosh show up too early. Jaina tries to stop them, but Varian and Garrosh still fight each other. Ronin breaks the fight up and Varian teleports away, claiming that he will never work together with the Horde. The Frozen Halls. Jaina later on enters the Frozen Halls to confront the Lich King and attempt to reason with him, in hopes of releasing the spirit of her lost love, Arthas. She ends up in the Halls of Reflection, where Frostmourne, the blade of the Lich King, is waiting. To Jaina her surprise, Uther the Lightbringer appears out of the sword and tells her that there is no hope of finding the old Arthas. The Lich King enters the room, sends Falric and Marwyn on the attack and leaves shortly after. Jaina follows him, and you find her near death after defeating Falric and Marwyn. Jaina freezes the Lich King in a block of ice and makes a run for it. Arthas catches up and nearly chokes her to death, but luckily the Skybreaker flies in and rescues her. Should you bring Jaina's locket to her following the Lich King's defeat, she weeps, stating that she knew there was still some part of Arthas trapped within the Lich King.
What's this? He kept it. All this time, he kept it. I knew. I sensed a part of him still alive, trapped, struggling. Oh, Arthas. Perhaps he might someday remember what he once was. By the light, may he at last find rest, free from the icy grip of that terrible blade.
And what did Jaina do in Cataclysm? Well, we had the dungeon where you would go back into the future, where she was kinda crazy, and we had her crying at the wedding of Thrall. That's pretty much her role during Cataclysm.
And that's about enough of that one. Wow, that one was an oldie but a goldie. Wasn't that lovely, everybody? Little trip back in the past. But the point is, of this video, why I still wanted to show it, because that video is in a desperate need of an update, and I will definitely get to it. The point of the video, for those that paid attention, is that Jaina spent her whole life working towards peace between Alliance and the Horde, and I kind of gloss over it in this one. This is why I need to update it. But things that she tried to do was, as I showed you, she let her father die for the sake of peace. She sat down with Thrall and Varian at Theramore, even with Garrosh and Anduin there, and they tried to negotiate towards peace. And Garrosh was like, screw this, I just want to conquer and dominate. And little Anduin was like, why would you do that, sir? If talking would save lives. And Thrall was like, you're wise. So They were actually having peace negotiations, and near the end, Thrall and Varian just walked outside buddy-buddy. Of course, it is World of Warcraft, and Garona half-Orcan attacked, the Twilight Hammer clan attacked, they screwed everything up, but there was their peace. Later on, we see her with the whole, Sylvanas is betrayed from within. It looks like the Horde kills everybody at the Wrathgate, and still, Jaina is like, hold up, Varian, we can't just outright kill Thrall here, step back. We can't do this. All her life, she's been working towards peace. And that's pretty much what I wanted to get out of that video. Let's see what I wrote down here. Blah, blah, blah. So, after Icecrown Citadel, all the other development that they gave her in the storyline. She showed up at ICC with the whole Varian Rin speech. And she was like, oh, my king! You make me so proud! And then she showed up at Thrall's wedding during the Cataclysm. And she was like, oh, Thrall! Why? And a lot of fans were like, oh my god, Jaina wanted to marry Thrall. I just think she was very moved by that moment. But all they did with her was just dump her there and then had her cry. And she really didn't do nothing except for trying to work towards peace, which kind of sucked. Because there was so much more that they could do with her storyline. Now, that all changed when they decided that Garrosh would be placed in the position of War Chief. And Garrosh, like I said, he never saw eye to eye when it came to working together with the Alliance. He was not like Thrall. He thought that the Horde should dominate and conquer what they need, not ask, not negotiate, not beg. To understand the next part in Jaina's storyline, to understand what happens next, you'll have to understand Garrosh Hellscream. And I think I call him Garrosh in this video, so you have to apologize, you have to listen beyond that. But this is the story of Garrosh Hellscream. And now I just need to set it up right, so give me 2 seconds. We're gonna do this, pause it. You can hear that the music, so it's already a little bit later in the development cycle. And then this one, yup. There we go. Enjoy the story of Garrosh Hellscream.
To get a better understanding of Garrosh Hellscream, you'll first need to know a little bit about the history of the Horde and about his father. Garrosh has done a ton of stuff in the past expansions, so I'll try to tell the complete story, but I might not be able to tell you everything. The Horde we know today is actually the second Horde. The first Horde came from the world now known as Outland. Many Orcish clans were scattered around Outlands and they were mainly hunters, not fighters. They were very in tune with the elements and each clan had a shaman. The shamans would communicate with the spirits of the dead orcs and could ask the elements to lend them their aid in battle. The highest honor any orc could receive was to die in an honorable battle. There were other races on Outlands, among them were the Draenei. One of the Orcish shamans, named Ner'zhul, received a vision from the spirits in the form of his beloved departed wife. She told him that the Draenei were a threat to the Horde and should be eliminated. To do this, Ner'zhul had to unite all the clans under one banner, the banner of the Horde. Unknown to Ner'zhul, the vision he had received was not from the spirits, but from Kil'jaeden the Deceiver. Kil'jaeden was hunted in Draenei, and he had discovered that they were hiding on the planet of the orcs. He decided that the best plan was to manipulate the orcs and use them to slaughter all the Draenei. Kil'jaeden was the one who gave the orcs their first demonic powers, and the first orcish warlocks were born. The use of demonic powers would eventually destroy Outland and transform the orcs from a brown colored skin to a green one. Ner'zhul eventually figured out that it wasn't the spirit of his wife who was advising him, but by that time it was already too late. His apprentice Gul'dan betrayed Ner'zhul and took his place in following the orders of Kil'jaeden. The Draenei, although peaceful, were no pushovers. Kil'jaeden gave the orcs more power by giving them the blood of his demon general Manoroth. Some clan leaders, for example Thrall's father, already had a feeling that something wasn't quite right. They couldn't speak out against it because that would mean exile and almost certain death. Others, like Garrosh's father, welcomed any chance to increase their power, and it was Garrosh Hellscream who took the first sip of the demon blood. Kil'jaeden was true to his word, and the demon blood did grant them incredible powers. What they didn't know was that it would also make them slaves to the demons. The Horde marched with a renewed bloodlust and slaughtered every Draenei man, woman and child that they could find. Time passed, and the demon blood pumping in their veins made the orcs go crazy. They had nothing left to fight, so they turned on each other. Outlands used to be like Nagrand is today, but because of the use of demonic powers it became a wasteland with little to no water or food. Medivh, under the influence of the demon Sargeras, came to Gul'dan in a vision. He showed Gul'dan Azeroth, a land full of water, food and plenty of enemies to satisfy their bloodlust. The Horde, with the help of Medivh, created the Dark Portal and started their first invasion of Azeroth. Garrosh Hellscream wasn't part of the first invasion, but he was there the second time that they went to Azeroth. Garrosh wasn't fighting with them because he was ill with the red pox, so he had to stay behind in Nagrand. The Dark Portal got destroyed, separating Garrosh and Garrosh forever. Garrosh later on asked about his father, and Great Mother Gaia told him the story of his father and how he became willingly a slave for more power. The shadow of his father's mistake would haunt Garrosh, making him insecure and depressed about his future role as leader of the Magar. He vowed that he would never make the same mistake as his father had.
Ah, Thrall. You always believed that the demons corrupted our race, but that's only half true. We gave ourselves up willingly on Draenor. The other chieftains and I, we drank Manaroth's blood, Thrall. We brought this curse upon ourselves.
Unknown to Great Mother Gaia and Garrosh was that his father would find redemption. Garrosh Hellscream learned to control the demon blood burning in his veins. He helped Thrall in freeing the captured orcs, and he helped him with creating the second Horde. In Warcraft 3, Grom and his warriors once again drank from demon blood in order to defeat Cenarius. Thrall manages to save Grom with the help of Jaina Proudmoore, and Grom and Thrall set off to face Manaroth to free their people of the demonic curse. Grom heroically sacrifices his life in order to save his people.
Thrall, the blood haze has lifted. The demon's fire has burnt out in my veins. I have freed myself. No, old friend. You've freed us all.
Now that you know that part of the history and especially how the Orcish Horde was and how his father was, let's talk about Garrosh. We don't see Garrosh until the reopening of the Dark Portal in the Burning Crusade. Thrall finds Garrosh in Nagrand and tells him the full story of his father. Knowing the heroic tale of his father gives Garrosh strength and a new sense of pride. He follows Thrall back to Azeroth to become his advisor. In the Wrath of the Lich King, the Horde is discussing what to do about the Scourge. Thrall wants to be careful and first wants to find out what the Alliance is planning to do. Garrosh disagrees. He believes that allying with the Alliance would put the Horde in danger. The discussion gets so heated that Garrosh challenges Thrall to a duel and they fight in the arena. However, the duel is interrupted as the Scourge attacks Orgrimmar and they repel the attack, and Garrosh once again requests to be immediately sent to Northrend. This time Thrall agrees and he commands High Overlord Sourfang to go with Garrosh. Not much of the insecure Garrosh is left in his role as Overlord of the Warsong Offensive. He is reckless and is focused on destroying the Alliance, even with the ongoing war against the Lich King.
A true war chief would never partner with cowards. You disappoint me, Garrosh.
Garrosh returns to Orgrimmar as a hero who defeated the Lich King, and he receives his father's weapon Gorhal. The Cataclysm hits and Thrall sets out to join the Earthen Ring and appoints Garrosh as the new war chief. At first, Garrosh is worried that the position isn't right for him, despite his earlier challenge to Thrall's title. He knows that it takes a certain kind of person to lead a horde and that perhaps he'd be more fit for something like military duty. Thrall assures him that he's the best choice and leaves. A Night Elf settlement is destroyed and it's believed that Garrosh is behind the attack. Taurens meet up with Night Elves to try and negotiate peace, despite what has happened. The negotiations are interrupted by attacking orcs and both Night Elf and Tauren are killed. Word of this reaches Cairn and he sets out to confront Garrosh. Unknown to all was that these attacks were made by the Twilight Hammer clan. Cairn finds Garrosh and he challenges him to Mak'gora, a duel of honor for control over the Horde. Garrosh agrees, but only if they use the ancient rules, a duel to the death. Cairn instantly agrees and they fight. Unknown to all of them is that the blessing placed on Garrosh's weapon by Megafa Grimsodom is actually poison. Cairn, who lived his life with honor, dies betrayed. Megafa's exiled, Bane becomes the leader of the Taurens, and Garrosh offers the Taurens a place of honor within the Horde and promises to make it up to both Bane and the Tauren people. In Cataclysm, Garrosh fully accepts his new role as warchief. He transforms Orgrimmar into a city ready for war, and he kicks out every non-Orc and non-Tauren from central Orgrimmar, believing only they possess the strength to truly defend the city. There is a questline in Stoneteller Mountains that explains what is most dear to Garrosh. One of his warlords has just bombed the city and Garrosh is not having it.
Instead, you laid waste to the land, murdered innocents, children even. I spent a very long time in Northrend, Cromgar. I learned much about the Horde in that time. While there, a wise old war hero told me something that I would carry with me forever. Honor, Cromgar. No matter how dire the battle, never forsake it. Overlord Cromgar, you have disgraced the Horde!
Can orcs fly?
You have brought shame to us as a people!
We will find out.
By my right as war chief, I hereby relieve you of duty! You are dismissed!
And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You are dismissed. Probably the most honorable moment in Garrosh's career. And you might wonder, how the frick did we go? Shut up, birds. Shh. How the frick did we go from Garrosh tossing Overlord Cromgar off a mountain for bombing villages to the bombing of Theramore? That has part to do with them turning Garrosh into the bad guy. A lot of people, when Garrosh was introduced as the war chief, they really didn't like him, and they were like, you know, we don't like him. So Blizzard was like, okay, you don't like him? Fine, we'll turn him into the bad guy. Then, of course, they actually gave him a proper storyline, and one of these honorful moments where he was like, you bombed the city, you disgraced the honor of the Horde, you got to go, and people were like, this is my war chief. And then it was, you know, they had different teams working on different storylines, and it's just Blizzard messing up on that department. So that's the part that I wanted to show about Garrosh, you know? He started off as this timid orc, living under the shadow of his father. Thrall picked him up and lifted him. He learned some lessons in Northrend, up to the point where, you know, he kicked Overlord from the mountain and he positioned himself in the role as war chief. Now for Jaina's department, notice by the way how Jaina was part of the team that helped with cleansing Garrosh's father from the double blood curse, cleansing him from that moment. And that's been Jaina ever since her youth, you know. When she went with Arthas to one of those orcish internment camps, Arthas was like, these monsters have to go down. And Jaina was like, hang on a minute. They have children. They don't look so evil. Why do they all have to die? So she always had a soft spot for looking beyond, you know, just race. She wasn't a racist in that regard. And she, again, worked towards bringing peace between the Alliance and the Hordes. Now then, which brings us, beloved chat room and beloved YouTube later on, brings us to the next bit, which is, oh yeah, good that I make scripts, then I don't forget what I want to say. What I didn't mention in the video, I kind of glossed over it, is the part where Cairn died. Some events happened with Bane. Megafor Grimtotem had poisoned Garrosh's weapon and caused him to win the fight, but dishonorable. But Garrosh didn't know about this, right? After those moments, Megafor launched an attack on Thunderbluff, and thankfully Bane was warned in time, so he was able to escape. But Megafor still took the city, and Bane was like, who do you trust at this point? I don't know if I can trust Garrosh, I don't know if I can trust the Horde, I don't know if I can trust Vol'jin. Who do you trust? So they decided to trust an unlikely ally, and they went to Jaina Proudmoore in Theramore. At the time, Prince Anduin had teleported to Jaina. He was there with the meeting with Bane and whatnot, and he gave Bane the weapon Fearbreaker, while Jaina gave Bane some of her personal funds, which he could use to buy robes and weapons and aid from the goblins in order to retake his city. So Jaina was the reason why Bane and the Torrents were able to retake their city and kick the crap out of Megafor Grimtotem and kick her out of the city. So again, a point for Jaina, as in helping the Horde and helping out there. Now, like I said with Garrosh, you know, he wasn't a peacekeeper. People actually liked him as a war chief. He wasn't a thrall, and he was still honorful up to this point. That all changed when they decided to turn Garrosh into this uber bad guy, and they wanted to find out what exactly it takes to turn a peacekeeper into a warmonger. That story took place at the start of Mist of Pandaria, in the scenario which was shown in, you know, the bombing of Theramore, what it was described in the novel Tides of War. Now, hopefully, we can set another video ready. Here we go. We put it here. Oh god. Oh god, it's the beta with novel introduction. You know this is gonna be freaking fantastic. You know this is gonna be awesome, everybody. Are you ready? Hang on to your hats, yo. It's gonna be amazing.
This video will contain major spoilers about Tides of War. If you still want to read the book, and I can advise you to read the book, please turn off the video now. I'm serious guys, the book is definitely worth it, don't spoil it unless you really have no intention of reading it or if you already read it. Alright, let's begin. I'll tell you the major points in the story. The Blue Dragonflight is slowly splitting apart as they no longer have a purpose after the events of the Cataclysm. They decide to move the focusing iris out of the Nexus because everyone knows where it is. It gets stolen while being transported and Caligos, the blue aspect, sets out to retrieve it. Blue dragons can sense the iris, but at some point he loses track of it and he makes his way to Theramore to ask Jaina Proudmoore for help. Together they figure out a way to track it again, but it moves too fast for Caligos to catch it. In the meantime, Jaina and Caligos grow closer and develop feelings for each other. Old War Chief Thrall is still busy healing the world, and new War Chief Garrosh is planning war on Theramore and the entire continent. He has a new friend called Melkorok, a Blackrock orc, and Melkorok is there to make sure that no one opposes Garrosh, and any that do get either beat up or killed. Most of the Horde leaders don't want to go to war, the way Garrosh wants to do it, but they're too afraid to speak out for the sake of their own people. So war there shall be. The armies of all the factions of the Horde marches onto Northwatch. It quickly falls and one would expect Garrosh to move quickly to Theramore before reinforcements can arrive. However, he makes his army wait. Bane sends a messenger to Jaina, warning her about the army that's making its way to Theramore. He does this because he remembers Jaina's compassion after his father's death, her wish for peace, and because he doesn't want her to be caught unaware. He does not shrug away from his duty to the Horde and will still fight in the oncoming war. Vol'jin also disagrees with the tactical choices of Garrosh, but they both have to look out for their people. After receiving the message, Jaina asks around the Alliance for help, and help she receives. Some of the finest generals the Alliance has to offer arrive in time to help Theramore. Caligos first decides that he must remain neutral, but then offers his help after seeing the massive armies of the Horde. Even part of the Kirin Tor, including its leader Ronan, come to the defense. The Kirin Tor is purely there though for defensive actions on the gate, since they want to remain neutral at all costs. However, there is a Blood Elf spy among them who helps the Horde break down the gate and enter Theramore Keep. His name is Talon Songweaver, and Caligos tries to close the gate again by using rocks.
FYI, remember the whole Blood Elf on the inside willing as a double agent, willing to work as that, and Dalaran and the Kirin Tor coming there as a sort of neutral defense against the Horde. Keep that in mind for later in the storyline.
But the Horde see this and Garrosh quickly calls for the retreat. The day seems to be won by Theramore. Garrosh however has a bigger plan in mind. By sending his army, he managed to draw out some of the finest generals and even the leader of the Kirin Tor. He's ready to wipe them all out in one single blow. It turns out that it was the Horde who had stolen the focusing iris and they reformed it into a mana bomb, attached it to a Goblin airship and it's now making its way to Theramore. Caligos tries to intercept it, but he gets blown out of the sky by cannon fire, and Ronan pushes Jaina into a portal as he draws the bomb onto himself. He does this to make sure that the explosion is within the protective spells of Theramore so that the blast isn't that big. After the explosion, Garrosh returns to the city to party, and his dreams of conquering Kalimdor are now one step closer, and he orders his ships to create a blockade so that all the other Alliance settlements on Kalimdor can't receive reinforcements. Bane and Vol'jin are appalled at Garrosh and his methods. Jaina wakes up on a deserted island, eyes glowing white from the poison of the mana bomb. Her hair is also changed to the color of white except for one golden lock. She returns to Theramore and sees the onslaught the Horde has done to her city and her people. She recovers the focusing iris and sets out for bloody revenge.
This aberration destroyed everything. Everyone. You spit on mercy? Then you will have none! You want carnage? Garrosh will get more blood than he ever bargained for!
She asks help from Varian and the Kirin Tor, but they both refuse to go to all-out war like that. She steals a book from the library of Dalaran that tells about the focusing iris and how to use its powers, and she sets out to create a huge tidal wave to flush all of Orgrimmar and all of its inhabitants and citizens. Thrall receives a vision from the water spirits as they cry out for help. They don't want to do what Jaina is going to make them do, and they ask Thrall to stop her. Thrall rides to Jaina, and they enter a battle of wind versus water. With the focusing iris empowering her, it takes all that the mighty Thrall has just to hold the tidal wave. Caligos finds Jaina in the battle with Thrall and tries to convince her that this is not the way, that she doesn't want to become an Arthas. They manage to convince Jaina, and she decides to use the elementals to defend rather than to attack. Thrall, with his mission done, returns to go and heal the world, and Jaina and Caligos fly out with the intention to break the blockade.
Jaina first requests Caligos to fly her over the Orgrimmar because she wants to see the place for herself. On the way there, however, they see the Alliance fleet heavy in combat with the Horde ships. Varian might not have wanted to go to war the way Jaina wanted to, but it didn't mean that he wouldn't go out and strike back to defend his people. What would seem to be an easy victory, with the Horde partying and all, turns out to be a bit more difficult. Garrosh orders his shamans to summon Kraken from the deep, and they trash the Alliance ships.
Ahoy! I'm sailing!
Jaina sends in her elementals, they kill off the Kraken, and she saves the day. The fleet then sets off to retake Northwatch Hold, and they claim it for the Alliance once again. After that, Varian makes plans to break the rest of the blockades, but Garrosh gets news of this and makes his fleet return home. The aftermath of it all is that Jaina goes to Dalaran again to offer her services to the Kirin Tor. She has no city left to defend and figures that this is the best way to go. The Kirin Tor don't just want her as a member, but they want her as a leader. And they want her because of a prophecy that Ronan had received from the dragon Corialstras. Jaina accepts the position but claims that she cannot be neutral for as long as Garrosh is the leader of the Horde. Caligos gives the focusing iris to the Kirin Tor, since its flight have all left the Nexus. Throughout the story, his feelings for Jaina and hers for his have been growing, and he decides to stay at Jaina's side. Thrall is still busy again with healing the world, and Varian has the Alliance working hard at building more ships, more weapons to prepare for war. Garrosh, although defeated, figures that he was simply thinking too small. He now sets his eyes not only on Kalimdor, but on the entire world. More elements, more Kraken, more of everything. Bane and Vol'jin return to their people, but they're still very unhappy with their current leader. There are two parts.
And there we go.
So what can we take away from this? Oh, they locked me out of my WoW! Sons of bitches, let me back into me WoW! So what can we take away from this? Despite... I should first explain exactly, because in this old video I kinda gloss over it, the impact of the bombing of Theramore. The moment where Jaina returns to Theramore, and Kalis did a wonderful music video on this. She returns to Theramore, and there she sees those that stay behind to defend her city after the bombing. They're floating corpses everywhere with purple magic around them, floating corpses here and there, blood. And then there's her apprentice, Kindy, this gnome girl that was created for the book. Very cute, very sweet. And that moment where Jaina tries to pick up the small gnomish corpse body, touches it with her hands, it just disintegrates into sand. And that's the moment where Jaina was like, oh damn. Oh damn, she like picks a piece of glass and she shoves it down one of the orc throats. The orcs that are like scavenging around Theramore. She was like, I'm gonna mess stuff up. I'm gonna murder everybody. You spit on mercy, then you will have none. And that's the moment where she decided, after informing Kindy's parents, who don't even have a daughter to bury at this point, she decides to steal the focusing iris, make this massive tidal wave, and despite everything that's happened, despite Garrosh and the Horde screwing her over like that, she still finds the inner peace to not send that tidal wave, to not flood Orgrimmar, to not become a Garrosh. And I know a lot of people, they argue that Garrosh is not the Horde, but you have to understand that we need to look at it from a character's perspective. We know in the book we can read Bane's thoughts, we can read Vol'jin's thoughts, and we can read that they were appalled at it. That Bane was looking at the explosion, he was like, Garrosh, what have you done? But Jaina can't communicate and can't look into their minds. To her, the Horde stood at Garrosh's side with the bombing of Theramore, and it's not like any action was taken after the bombing either. It wasn't until the assassination of Vol'jin that the Horde finally decided to stand up against the Warchief and step away from him. That's the moment where I would say, okay, fine, that's the moment where the Horde stepped away from Garrosh. But up to that point, in the world's eyes, they were still on their Warchief's side. And I'm not saying either that Garrosh shouldn't have to attack Theramore, because from a strategic standpoint, from a Garrosh standpoint, it was definitely a very tactical position to attack, and he should have. You know, Garrosh is not a thrall, he is not a peacekeeper, he is not a goody two-shoes trying to negotiate. He is a guy that's all about, I'm going to conquer this planet, I'm getting my people out of this desert, and we're gonna get out of here, you know? I'm gonna take Theramore, I'm gonna take everybody. That's not the problem. Attacking is not the problem. It's the way in which he did it, which was a bomb. It was a dishonorful action. The same action that he, an expansion ago, dropped one of his generals of a mountain for. And now he's like, you know what? I don't care about honor. I'm gonna force the elements into servitude. I'm gonna drop freaking nukes on city. He tosses every bit of honor out of the window. And that's the major problem with the attack from Garrosh. And of course, from Jaina's point of view, bombing her city, you know, killing her people. Not a good situation to be in, if you're Jaina. Not a good situation to be in. Yeah. So they make Jaina the leader of Dalaran, and she accepts the position. There was a prophecy from the Red Dragon Tross, as I said it in the video. The Red Dragon Kresis. That prophesied about Jaina having to become the leader of Dalaran, and she accepts the job, but she does claim that she cannot be neutral as long as Garrosh is the war chief of the Horde. They still accept her as a leader, and that's where the next part of the story begins. So after the bombing of Theramore, we got the story of Pandaria, where Alliance went in to rescue their prince, because Prince Anduin was shipwrecked on Pandaria, while the Horde went in to paint the continent red. For the Horde! We were the initial strike force, as the rest of the troops were getting ready. So we were there, you know, a small team was sent in while the rest of the fleet and the rest of the arms were getting ready. And we were first introduced to the different races of Pandaria. Remember the Shah! Shah was everywhere. And, you know, we messed the country up. Us invading Pandaria, our emotions feeding the Shah, it messed everything up. We tried to fix our problems until the next patch, where the troops were finally ready to come in and, you know, support us. And that's where the next bit of the storyline begins. That is where Jaina enters the story again, and we find Prince Anduin asking for help from the Kirin Tor, asking for help to support the Alliance in the warfare. And there we go. Now let me just set it all right up, which is Operation Shieldwall. And look, by the way, at what Jaina's response is. You would imagine, from Jaina saying, neutral, I cannot be as long as Garrosh is war chief. Check out what she actually tells Anduin when he asks her to support the Alliance. Hang on. That one, then that one, then that one. And plop. There we go. Enjoy.
We are just getting started, friend. Our greatest challenges lie ahead. But when war comes to these shores, you and I will be ready for it.
War has come to the shores of Pandaria after 2 months since we first set foot on land. King Varian Rin asks you to assist him in setting up a base and learning the land. Along the way, you discover that Garrosh is after the Divine Bell, an ancient artifact used by the Mogu to harness the power of the Shah. Meanwhile, King Varian tries to convince Jaina to use the Kirin Tor as a weapon against the Horde.
My father isn't asking you to pledge the Kirin Tor to the Alliance.
Anduin, I know exactly what he's asking. Oh. Look who's arrived. Nobody dislikes Garrosh more than me. I wrestle with my anger every day. Come with me. Look around you a moment. In the aftermath of Theramore, my first instinct was to decimate Orgrimmar. To kill every man, woman, and child in the city.
Jaina.
I'm not proud. Since then, Kalikos and I have talked at length about power and how it should be used. The Kirin Tor has a legacy of abuse. Kel'Thuzad turned his knowledge of the arcane arts toward necromancy. Kael'thas Sunstrider was also a student here, another of our fold who betrayed us. Every day I ask myself, what's the right thing to do? Anduin, you know more than anyone. It's important to separate the Horde from its people. The Sun Reavers still operate within this city. Alliance and Horde work together. As long as we stay above the war, then there's hope for the world as a whole.
Alright, notice how Jaina, despite her city being bombed, despite becoming the leader of Dalaran, claiming that she cannot be neutral, she still goes ahead and tells Anduin to fuck off. You're not getting the aid of the Kirin Tor with the Alliance. We are a beacon of hope over here at Dalaran. You know, we're just a little bit better than the rest of the world. If Blood Elves and High Elves can work together here, then maybe this is a good thing. Maybe we can show the world how it can be done. Guess what the Horde does next?
I see our city as a beacon of light showing the way. If we can trust one another here, then there's hope for the rest of the world.
I understand. I'll talk to my father.
Thank you, Anduin.
The Shah corrupts the Alliance troops, and together with Anduin you cleanse them. A discussion between the leaders of the Alliance follows, whether or not to use the power of the Shah for ourselves. Anduin states that he does not wish to follow Garrosh's example, and Varian agrees. Garrosh has captured the Mogu, who has last seen the Divine Bell. He plans to torture the Mogu into gaining the information that he needs, but Bane has a better idea. You use Pandaren Memory Wine to infiltrate the Mogu's mind, and you receive a vision of the past.
Are the preparations complete? Yes, Warlord. The traps are set. The Divine Bell will be safe within this crypt, ready for the day that the Thunder King returns. We have but to evacuate the workers and the rest of our warriors. There is no time. The Shadowpan trackers are too close. They cannot learn the location of the bell. Very well then. May the ghosts of our brothers guard this place for all eternity. Their sacrifice will not be in vain. And neither of our two will yours.
Stay vigilant, hero. This place has been sealed for centuries. Who knows what we will encounter within?
Light. I see light. Finally, after centuries of silence, someone comes at last. I have kept the bell safe, as promised, Master. Wait, you are not Mogu. Intruders! Guardians, awaken! Destroy those who would steal
What was
the
that
Thunder
thing?
King's treasure!
No matter. We will strike down any who stand in our way. There it is, hero. The Divine Bell. We must take it somewhere safe. Sentinels, let's get to work.
Thankfully, you, with the help of the Night Elves, managed to secure the Divine Bell before Garrosh was able to get to it. It's teleported to Darnassus, where it will be well protected from any thieves.
Oh, no, the bell! I had Darnassus locked down. Every fumbling rogue that tried to sneak into the city, I caught them. I snatched every two-bit charlatan that attempted to teleport through my tracks. I couldn't possibly have gotten through. This was an inside job. Somebody inside the city has the bell, unless... No. These portals connect to Dalaran. That means the Kirin Tor, my own Kirin Tor, helped the Horde commit this atrocity. I will not be betrayed again. Those responsible for this will be punished. Aethys Sunreaver! You've betrayed the Kirin Tor, Sunreaver. You've allowed Garrosh to move his forces through my city.
You have it all wrong, Jaina. I did nothing.
You looked the other way. You and your insubordinate kind are no longer welcome here.
This is our city too, Proudmoore.
I see. I will remove the Sunreavers by force then. You, Aethys, will be coming with me.
It appears that the bell was stolen by the Horde with the help from the Sunreavers inside of Dalaran. Jaina was about to forgive the Horde for what had happened to Theramore, but this was the final drop. She goes on a rampage and you are instructed to purify any of the Sunreavers left in Dalaran.
Jaina, what's happening in Dalaran? Has there been an attack?
The Kirin Tor was betrayed from within. I've handled the situation.
How?
I've purged the Horde from Dalaran. You have what you wanted, Your Majesty. The Kirin Tor belongs to the Alliance.
But you said that...
I know what I said. My trust was misplaced.
What of the Sindorai? The Sunreavers?
Those that surrendered are being taken to the Violet Hold. I make no guarantees about those who chose to fight.
Jaina, you need to talk to me before you act.
How I run the Kirin Tor is my business.
I was trying to negotiate with the Sindorai. I was opening discussions to bring them into the Alliance. By attacking their people, you forced their hand.
They chose their own path.
You've driven them back to the Horde.
You're fooling yourself. Once Horde, always Horde. I see that now. I'm mobilizing the Kirin Tor.
Jaina, we've got to work together on this. The Alliance must act as one.
Don't get soft on me, Varian.
Don't be a pussy, Varian. Dismantle the Horde, Varian! So what we see here, right? That was, by the way, that was a very cool image. If you could find it somewhere, it's a really cool one. So what we see here is that Jaina's leading Dalaran, and the Horde, the Sunreavers, hope I get that right, are instructed to steal the Divine Bell from Darnassus, and they used Dalaran as a teleportation way. They used the city to do so. Jaina finds out about this, and she's like, what the frick? Am I betrayed again? After being betrayed during Theramore, after the bombing of Theramore, after, again, I'm betrayed from within. What is this? And this is the moment where she's like, okay, you guys, you gotta go. The Alliance is now ruling. I'm allying myself with the Alliance. Horde gotta go. Now, somebody in the chat room pointed out that not all Blood Elves were in on this. Not everybody was doing this. No, you're right. We can see this. That not every single Blood Elf was in on this. But you have to look at it from Jaina's point of view. She sees a faction again betraying her from within. And she's like, what's going on here? So from Jaina's point of view, it does look like everybody's doing it. And the counter argument that I've also heard about Jaina should have never taken the Divine Bell, and she should have never hidden it away in Darnassus. There was a breach of neutrality. I kind of agree. It's kind of a breach of neutrality, but don't forget that the Kirin Tor did the same thing during Theramore, during the Horde's army marching towards the city. Even before Jaina led the whole faction, they were ready. Okay, we gotta make a neutral stand here. We're gonna be there. Hopefully just being there will push them away from attacking your city. And I believe that Jaina did a similar thing here. The Alliance did not plan to use the Divine Bell. All they wanted was to keep the Divine Bell away from Garrosh. Because, Shah, and empowerment, and world domination, and Siege of Orgrimmar, and Garrosh is evil, and electrocution by Thrall. They kind of want to avoid that. And that's why they hid it away in Dalaran, or in Darnassus, and that's why Jaina felt betrayed. There was one more point that I wanted to make, but I kind of forgot about it. Boop. Did I write it down? I hope so, otherwise we're just gonna move on to the next part, which is the Horde side of things. Intention, no intention to use it. Right. Still envision them as a beacon of light. Right. So yeah, not much to add to that. So this is the point where Jaina's like, okay, screw your shit. F the Horde, I'm joining Team Alliance. Which leads, because we both need to watch both sides of things, which leads to Dominance Offensive, which is the Horde side of things. This one we're gonna, you know, you'll have to grab some popcorn. You'll have to grab drink. This one is gonna be quite a doozy. It's 30 minutes. So I hope you're ready for this, everybody. Grab yourself popcorn and drink, and I hope you'll enjoy. It's been 2 months since we first set foot on the land of Pandaria. The fleet of the Horde has made its way across the sea, and Garrosh personally asks you to come with him as he inspects the landing site. You secure the area, and Garrosh approves, so he grants you the honor of lighting the signal.
Here! Stop the boats here! Only the strongest may... This island will make a perfect coastal stronghold. Rakla, when the peons arrive, clear these trees and begin construction of the docks. Champion, you have been here for many weeks and know this land well. Come with me.
We got this. Oh, I never thought the war chief himself would come to bail me out.
I didn't come to save your sorry hide, Goblin. Did you find fuel or not?
Yes, sir. We struck it big. There's crude all along the coast. We'll get an operation going right away, Your Hugeness.
I know you will. I'm sending in grunts to make sure of it. Ha! A pitiful skirmish. The Alliance fights without conviction. Hold this ground, Bloodguard. Here is where we will build our keep. Expect peons within the hour, and be ready to motivate them. Site is secure. We're ready for work to commence. Champion, you have earned the honor. Signal our fleet. Watch the might of the Horde in action as we turn this slab of land into Domination Point. Do you see, Champion? There is little my Horde cannot accomplish. What is this? Vol'jin, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be on your island kissing frogs?
What are we doing here? You bring this war to another corner of Azeroth, and I wanna know why.
Your lack of vision is why your people are still primitives, and your lack of loyalty is why I did not summon the Darkspear for this campaign. Look around you, Vol'jin. This land is rich in resources. Wood, stone, iron, fuel, and people. A show of might on these shores will make the Pandaren think twice about joining the Alliance.
All this bloodshed make everyone think twice about joining the Horde.
This is the difference between me and you, Vol'jin. I won't let my people starve to death in the desert. I will stop at nothing. Nothing to ensure a proud and glorious future for the Orcs and anyone with the courage to stand with us. Wait here. There is something you can do, Troll, to demonstrate your value to the Horde. A mission in the heart of this continent.
I will go, but only as a witness for my people. Someone gotta keep you in check, Garrosh.
Vol'jin unexpectedly arrives as he wants to keep an eye on Garrosh. Garrosh sends him on a mission to prove his loyalty and investigate the connection between the Mogu and the Saurok.
Something unnatural about these creatures.
This is the fight we're looking for. The war chief has learned there's a connection between the Mogu
Spirits
and these creatures. Troll, you know all about this voodoo. What can you find?
Voodoo. Watch me back while I investigate. These Mogu, they're working wicked dark magic here. The Saurok, they're not born. They was created. Flesh-shaped and bent. This be the blackest of magics, man.
Yes! The power to shape flesh, to build warriors! This is what the war chief wants!
Garrosh playing God, making monsters. This ain't what the Horde is about!
He knew you were a traitor! The war chief will annihilate his enemies! Ha ha!
The war chief shows his hand. This be what the Horde come to? Killing its own? We can't let this happen. Champions, I need ya. Go back to the war chief. Tell him I'm dead. Stay close to him. Watch him. You and me, we move to take him out when the time is right. Others are like me. You gotta find them. Swear the blood oath with me. Stay close. It be done. We brothers in this until the end. I'm gonna disappear for a while. Don't forget about me.
Vol'jin gets assassinated, but he survives and he asks you to keep an eye on Garrosh. Garrosh himself admires the vision of the Mogu, and he has learned that there are hidden armories full of earth-shattering weapons. Naturally, Garrosh desires these weapons, so he sends an expedition on the task of finding them. Fenrir Silverthorn has found an ancient stone storage vessel, and you are asked to go and inspect it. The vessel comes to life, but you quickly put it down, and it contains an ancient Coruna tablet. The tablet describes the Divine Bell, a weapon used by the Mogu which empowered their army and struck fear into the hearts of their enemies. Such a weapon is exactly what Garrosh would want. You receive a message from Chen Stormstout asking you to meet him at Binan village. Inside you find Chen, who's taking care of his old friend Vol'jin. Chen asks of you to go get some needles to stick into Vol'jin, and this gives Vol'jin the strength to open his eyes, give you his heartstone and tell you to go find Thrall.
Loktar, friend. What is it you wish?
The Hearthstone teleports you directly to Thrall, and together you ride out to the Echo Isles. It turns out that the Kor'kron have taken over the isle and are imprisoning trolls. They won't even listen to their former leader, and they claim that they are the new, stronger Horde. You are sent into the village to free the trolls and kill their leader. Thrall stands before the defeated orcs and he questions what has become of his former horde. Despite what Garrosh and these orcs think, the horde is still a family, and to prove this, Thrall will lend his powers to aid the trolls until Vol'jin returns. You are told to go back to Garrosh and keep silent over the events that happened. Lor'themar has led a research expedition north into Kunlai Summit, but things didn't go as expected. You arrive in the middle of a heated discussion between Lor'themar and Garrosh. Garrosh never told the Blood Elves about the dangers of the expedition, and he doesn't care if he needs to spill some elven blood to find the secrets of Pandaria. Lor'themar warns him that he might destroy the Horde for his perfect future. Later on, you receive a message from Lor'Vamar to meet him at the Valley of the Emperors in Kun-Lai Summit. You are told to take out some of the Mogu and find some information, but more importantly, you are told to capture their leader, Xian Qian. Garrosh is still trying to find the Divine Bell, and this Mogu is the last one who has seen it. You manage to weaken him, but in the end, Xian Qian harnesses the power of the Sha, fear, anger, doubt, and he starts to strangle you with it.
Only the strongest may dwell in Orgrimmar.
Garrosh jumps in and saves the day. He interrogates Xian Qian about the location of the Divine Bell, but Xian isn't talking. Garrosh nearly kills him, but Vanleer Silverthorn tells him to stop. There are better ways of making him talk, and he teleports Xian Qian away. Garrosh warns him that if he disrespects him again, he'll have his head on a pike outside the gates of Orgrimmar. Lor'Vamar has changed Xian Qian, and they're going to try find a way of making him talk. Bane Bloodhoof has arrived on Pandaria, and he has requested a loyal and discreet member of the Horde to join him at a meeting at the Shrine of Two Moons. As you enter the shrine, you find Bane, Lor'Vamar and Garrosh discussing the use of the Sha to empower the Horde army. The presence of the Sha in the city has already influenced the troops to the point where they lose complete control. After cleansing the troops, Lor'Vamar asks if Garrosh truly believes that the power of the Sha can be controlled. Garrosh says that the Mogu used the Sha to build a glorious empire and that we are the Horde. Where there is power, we seize it. His Horde has no place for the weak. Lor'Vamar replies by saying that the Mogu Empire fell, perhaps to the Sha, perhaps to the Pandaren, or perhaps to their own pride. Garrosh is getting impatient with the progress of Lor'Vamar, and he wants you to demand that Lor'Vamar increases the speed of his research. You travel to Silvermoon City, where Lor'Vamar asks you to assist Aphis and Romav with their experiment. The experiment turns out to be a Karun device. When you open the device, a concentrated Sha comes out. It immediately takes control over Aphis and Romav, and they start to fight each other. Aphis screams that the Cinderai must be free from the yoke of the Horde. You find the Sha and take it down, and the two men regain their senses. It turns out that the Sha energy is far more powerful than they first expected.
Champion, may I have a word with you? In private? You are a hero of the Horde. Your deeds in Northrend and during the Cataclysm are the stuff of legend. For this reason, I trust in your discretion. I am a ranger, not a politician. But like it or not, the mantle of leadership has fallen on my shoulders. My people, who have suffered through so many challenges and betrayals, look to me to secure their future. We Sindorai were driven to the Horde by the bigotry and distrust of the Alliance. Now, I look at our war chief, and I begin to see the very same racism. He is willing to throw away our lives for his agenda. Know this, I won't stand idle if the Horde interests conflict with those of my people. I may reconsider old alliances. Keep your eyes open, champion. We are all in this together. For now.
Just to point out a few things, I'm of course watching with everybody. Notice, by the way, the argument that people give me that Blood Elves are not all Blood Elves. Notice how here Lor'Vamar takes one member of the Alliance, Garrosh in this example, and he spreads it out over the entire Alliance that the Alliance pushed the Blood Elves into the Horde. While it was actually, you know, if we go by the same argument, it was Garrosh that pushed Kil'Thuzad and the Blood Elves away from the Alliance and towards the Horde. So if you're gonna go with one argument, then you also gotta accept the other. In the Horde's defense, notice how all of them are like, Garrosh, what you're planning to do, this is not the right way. But they don't step away from him just yet. They stand at his side, they don't take action with different reasons. You know, the Blood Elves and the Tauren and the Trolls, they don't want Garrosh as a bad guy. But there is no difference between the Darkspear Rebellion and this moment, and even the bombing of Theramore, except that it started to hurt the Horde itself. But we'll get back to that later. Now we're gonna carry on.
Qian still refused to talk, and Garrosh is about to lose his patience. He plans to torture the Mogu, but Bane has a better idea. You use Pandar Memory Wine to infiltrate the Mogu's mind, and you receive a vision of the past.
Are the preparations complete? Yes, Warlord. The traps are set. The Divine Bell will be safe within this crypt, ready for the day that the Thunder King returns. We have but to evacuate the workers and the rest of our warriors. There is no time. The Shadowpan trackers are too close. They cannot learn the location of the bell. Very well then. May the ghosts of our brothers guard this place for all eternity. Their sacrifice will not be in vain.
Chill, everybody. There's gonna be a different part in just a moment.
Will yours.
Just this epic moment, like owned, wrecked.
The location of the Divine Bell has been discovered and you are sent out to assist Ishii with finding the bell.
Horde. It's a shame you were so slow to get here. The Divine Bell is already ours. Rangers, strike! Stopped you. Sentinels, now! Very well. I will face you myself. This is for the Alliance! Death means nothing! The Divine Bell is already in Darnassus. You filthy Horde! We'll never have it!
The Alliance has found the bell first, and they've hidden it in Darnassus. You are sent on a stealth mission to find the bell and reclaim it for the Horde. After that you teleport...
Hang on, Noble. I'm gonna let you finish, buddy, but first... Interesting fact, by the way, which was discovered later on. Blizzard intended, in this very moment, where the Horde is sent to infiltrate Darnassus and collect the Divine Bell, they were planning to add Ava's Sunweaver to be there. He was supposed to show up, see the Korkron, and be like, "What the frick are you guys doing? Why are you infiltrating Darnassus?" And then the Korkron were supposed to reply with, "Shut your mouth, you haven't seen anything, don't say anything," and then Aphis teleports away. This wasn't implemented because of apparently the script didn't work or there were some bugs or whatever. That storyline was never implemented, but it was intended to be there. You'll see a little hint of that in the next video, but just keep in mind that Ava's Sunreaver was supposed to show up, he was supposed to see this, and he kept his mouth shut.
Teleport back to safety as Vanleer stays behind to clean up your tracks. It turns out that Van Leer didn't do a good job, since Jaina has discovered that it was the Sun Reavers who stole the bell. You are sent to evacuate the citizens, secure an escape and kill the members of the Silver Covenant who have taken this opportunity to strike out against the Sun Reavers.
Salama Ashalanoi!
Jaina's gone over the edge. She's imprisoning the Sun Reavers and attacking those who resist.
Alright, Romov, I'm gonna let you finish, buddy, but I always found this part very confusing. The Blood Elves know what they're doing is wrong, they're trying to erase their tracks, they get caught, and notice how he instantly, or at least not he, it's Blizzard who designs these storylines, how they instantly flip it around and say, Jaina's gone over the edge. No, Jaina's not gone over the edge. The way that they do it, sure, we'll get back to that later, but they were the ones who betrayed Jaina, and now they flip it around again. It was very confusing at the time.
What's worse, the Silver Covenant has seized the opportunity to join the bloodshed.
The dark times will pass. Remember the Sunwell.
Our enemies will fall. Remember the Sunwell.
Death to all who oppose us!
It's chaos up there. We need to save whoever we can, and we'll need to move quickly.
Lol, shark bait.
Victory lies ahead. The reckoning is at hand.
Wait for my command. Go, 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 go! To the center of the city! This way! Aethys isn't here. They must have moved him. We can continue without him.
Do not loiter.
You find Aethys in the Violet Citadel and you manage to safely get him out of the city.
Our enemies will fall.
Aethys, this way, into the portal. Stay by me. We're going out the tunnel. Stay by my side. The eternal sun guides us all. Aethys, you're alive.
Thanks to this hero, a few of us made it out of there. Many more have been sent to the Violet Hold.
Anaralash Danal. Will someone tell me what is going on in Dalaran?
Proudmoore. She's gone and expelled the Sun Reavers from the city. She's purging the Horde from the Kirin Tor.
She's gone too far. I'm certain the Alliance can move their war mages through the city at will. That human witch! When will they learn? When will they see that the Horde exists because of the Alliance? Because of their prejudice and their bigotry? They force us ever closer to Hellscream's Horde.
My lord.
Alduran, summon the Rangers. Romath, assemble the Blood Magi and add the Sun Reaver's strength to your own. We Sindori will take our future into our own hands. And get this damn thing out of my sight. Hellscream bought his treasure with the blood of my people. I hope it destroys him.
My lord, you would make a fine war chief.
It may come to that. Bring me my blades. The next move is mine.
Garrosh finally has the weapon that he's been looking for, and you are invited to witness the ringing of the Divine Bell.
Before we get to that part though, again, it's flipping it around. The way, and chat room is mentioning this, the way that Jaina takes care of the Purge of Dalaran was not the way to go about it. Sending the Silver Covenant on a job was not the way to do it. You see Blood Elves hanging over shark pits, but it's an action. It's a reaction to an action. It's a reaction to the Divine Bell being stolen through her city. So can you really blame her for taking action against that? Again, being betrayed from the inside. And then Lor'themar is like, that witch! And right next to him stands the Divine Bell that they just stole for Garrosh, that they knew Jaina wasn't going to like. Like, what the frick? Continuing.
We are the Horde! We are slaves to nothing and no one! With the Divine Bell, I will burn away any remnants of weakness within us. Fear, despair, hatred, doubt. The lesser races are buried beneath their weight. But we will control their power. Together, we will destroy the Alliance and claim what is rightfully ours. Let our song of victory begin!
Stop, Garrosh! You do not know what that bell is capable of.
So, in the end, it is not Varian, but his whelp who comes to face me. You run bravely to your death, young one.
I will not let you do this. I swear to it.
Stop me then, human. This pain! I cannot control it! Fight the Shah. Master it. Use it! You speak the truth, Garrosh. Can the Horde truly survive another war? Doubt is for the weak. Do not question your strength, Ishi. We will survive because we must. The Horde will prevail. much, Lord Chief. Our family's dead. Our friends lost. Our homeland gone. How much more must our people suffer? Our suffering is at an end. When this war is won, our people will see prosperity at last. Why should we be slaves to honor when we could slaughter the children of our enemies while they sleep? My blade thirsts for Alliance blood. Control your hatred, Ishi. There is killing, and then there is murder. Direct your rage to our enemies. At night, I see the faces of all those I have slain. Where do our spirits go after our bodies lay cold? I fear death. Use your fear, Ishi. Turn it on your foes. When death arrives, will you stand and face it, or kneel in defeat? War Chief, I have failed you. Yes, Ishi, you have. Your interference has cost me a great warrior, young prince.
Best moment I missed coming up.
Pay with your life.
Best moment I missed, Pandoria.
That is where you are wrong, Garrosh.
No, he's not. No, he's not. Ding! I'm gonna ring your bell. I'm gonna ring your bell.
The Mogu made the Divine Bell to create chaos, but the Pandaren created a special mallet to turn the echoes of that chaos into perfect harmony. That mallet was hidden for thousands of years, until now.
Die, whelp!
Boosh.
There is much I do not know about this artifact. The weak-willed cannot control this Shah energy, but I will master it. At least the human prince is dead. King Rin now knows the price of his continued defiance. Leave me. I have much to think about.
Oh, Garrosh. You were such a cool character. That moment, by the way, where he smashed Anduin with the freaking Divine Bell, that was freaking epic. I saw a few comments in the chat room, by the way, for the things that I mentioned during the Purge of Dalaran. And this is one of those subjects that's been debated to death, right? At the time that this came out, there were a lot of forum posts about this. And there is no right or wrong answer. I think that's actually the beauty when it comes to that whole storyline with Jaina, which is why I chose this topic, because there is no right or wrong. But I do want to comment my opinion on these things. Somebody said, how's that action make her any better than when Arthas had his downfall? Her actions in Dalaran makes their relationship come full circle. In my opinion, comparing the Purge of Dalaran to the Purge of Strathholm is a little bit out of balance. Whereas the Purge of Strathholm, Arthas decided to murder every man, woman and child that he could find that he thought were infected by the grain. Whereas the Purge of Dalaran, they were actually still given a choice. Despite betraying Jaina, they were given the choice to surrender and they would be imprisoned within the Violet Hold, or those that resisted were put down on the spot. Like I said, using the Silver Covenant to do, what they did in the sewers was absolutely the worst decision that Jaina could have made. But it's not the same as just murdering everybody there. It's, they were given a choice in that regard. Then somebody said her whole life she's been working to bring peace and whatnot, and then she throws it all out of the window. Yes and no. She has indeed spent her whole life working towards peace. Then the bombing of Theramore happened, and she was still willing to work towards peace. And then the betrayal from within Dalaran happened, and then she was like, okay, I'm gonna ally myself to the Alliance, enough is enough, I've been betrayed enough. It's not that Jaina just tossed it out of the window, she was pushed to that position by external forces, in this regard by Garrosh and those that betrayed her from within. And then finally, Jaina got too carried by her emotions in the end. The one person that had hope in peace, killing those that had no choice but to follow. I disagree with the choice, with the argument that they didn't have a choice to follow. There is always a choice. And like I mentioned before, as we see throughout the storyline, 5.3 was the Darkspear Rebellion and 5.4 was the Siege of Orgrimmar. At some point, the Horde decided that enough was enough and they stepped away from Garrosh and they decided to stand up against him and kick him out of the Mental Warchief, which is a great thing. Don't get me wrong, it was about time. But between the moment of the Purge of Dalaran and even the bombing of Theramore, nothing happens in the Horde scenery that changed their situation. The one thing that changed, why the Horde finally started to fight against Garrosh, was because it started to hurt the Horde itself. It was because, they were kicked out of Orgrimmar, it was because Vol'jin was assassinated, the whole poison strike, and it was that Vol'jin led rebellion. They didn't know that the Alliance was going to help them, so that's not an argument, they didn't get more forces. It was just, it started to hurt the Horde itself. So from a point of view, from a character like Jaina, it looks like they didn't care about the bombing of Theramore. They didn't care about stealing the Divine Bell. It was only from the moment that, Darkspear Rebellion and Vol'jin rose up, that they decided to do something about it. And that is why I don't agree with the whole argument they had no choice. But like I said, there are no real right or wrong answers, these are just my points on it. Bane and Vol'jin weren't warmongers like Garrosh, no they were not, but they also didn't step away from him until 5.3. And he means Karen's assassination. Oh, I mean Vol'jin's assassination. Vol'jin was assassinated, as we saw in the scenario. He got poisoned, they cut his throat, he healed up in the monastery, and then he returned and he led the Darkspear Rebellion. So yeah, that is up to this point. Now my point earlier, let me first bring my script about, because I want to check if I'm not forgetting to mention anything. Did I mention anything? Yeah, they got caught in the act, indeed. Oh yeah, the whole Aphis bit that I mentioned earlier, and this is just going to be a very short clip during the Isle of Thunder patch. The whole Aphis Sunreaver looking away, Jaina, claiming that he looked away and accusing him of looking away. They were actually planning to put it in the game, and there was a small remnant of that during the Isle of Thunder storyline, which we're gonna look up. I will have to browse a little bit through the video. Here we go. Yup. Plop. Alright. And it was around the 10:30 marker. Meanwhile, the Horde and the Alliance have managed to kill the reinforcements of the Zandalari, and now, after weeks of fighting each other on the island, it comes down to the final showdown.
Lord Zu, the Alliance, the Horde, all chaos is about to erupt out here!
Oh, my children. Toshi, hand me my weapon.
My lord, you are gravely wounded.
My weapon! Champion, with me. I want you to see this.
Hand over the Archmage, and I may yet allow you to walk out of here, Lorthamar.
Proudmoore, you will release my people from the Violet Hold, or I will cut you down myself.
Your people are legitimate prisoners of war. They orchestrated an attack on Darnassus, from my city.
The Sunreavers knew nothing of Garrosh's raid on Darnassus.
Look at the emote that says here, right here, Ava's Sunreaver shifts uncomfortably. And at the time, this caused so much speculation. The one side saying like, see here, he knew about it. And the other side saying, no, he was just feeling uncomfortable about being judged like that. With the announcement that they were planning to, put that whole Ava Sunreaver finds the Korkron bit in it, that is why you see that emote, Ava Sunreaver shifts uncomfortably, as they're talking about The Sun Reavers knew nothing of Garrosh's raid. They did know about it. And imagine if Aphis, instead of keeping his mouth shut, would actually go to Jaina and tell her, like, yo, I don't want to start a war here, but Garrosh is about to use Dalaran to steal the Divine Bell. How different would the events have been within the Purge of Dalaran? How different would the events have been between the Alliance and the Horde? So I don't feel it's fair to say crazy Jaina, blame everything on Jaina. I think that the different factions also have to pull out their own responsibility.
Enough! There will be no more bloodshed today. I see now why your alliance and your horde cannot stop fighting. Every reprisal is itself an act of aggression, and every act of aggression triggers immediate reprisal.
They have
must protect my sovereign
every
people.
attempt at peace.
Silence! You must break the cycle. It ends today. Here, the cycle ends when you, Regent Lord, and you, Lady Proudmoore, turn from one another and walk away.
Rangers, lower your weapons.
My lord!
Very well. We will stand down.
They killed my husband.
This won't bring him back. But know this, Blood Elf. There can be no peace while Hellscream is War Chief of the Horde.
That is precisely why I wish to conserve our strength today. Lady?
Lord.
Gather the wounded. Withdraw to the harbor.
Everyone, regroup back at the camp. Our work here is done.
Lord Zu!
Champion, this ceasefire may not last, but remember what you have seen today.
Taranzu, despite his grave injuries, intervenes, and both the Horde and the Alliance decide to step away and focus their attentions on a greater threat, namely Garrosh. Like, I don't really like Taranzu, right, as a character. I think Taranzu is a little bit holier than thou when he's just a Pandaran that was able to hide away behind the mist for all these years. But that moment was so sad for Taranzu. He was like bleeding there. He just had this epic battle. And then he was supposed to make the Horde and Alliance stop fighting. He's bleeding out there. And then they're like, well, okay, we're gonna walk away now. Like, isn't anybody supposed to get him a priest? That moment was always beautiful. And then later on during the trailer, Garrosh that actually stabs him with Gorehal. Beautiful. Right, everybody, we are going to move on. What was I supposed to say between these videos? Let me look at my script. Right, we talked about the whole shifting comfortably, blah, blah, blah. We've talked about one patch later that the Horde was ready to do the Darkspear Rebellion. Vol'jin came out of hiding, you know, he was ready to take the battle, kick Garrosh out of the Mantle of War Chief. The Horde had a very epic moment with taking Razor Hill, getting ready for that, while the Alliance, they got a freaking robot cat, never forget. And then the story of Siege of Orgrimmar happens, where we assault Orgrimmar and we take down Garrosh. Now I think because Jaina and Garrosh are so connected that we have to do the full story of Siege of Orgrimmar. But I'm seeing a lot of people like, we need a break, I'm sitting here for 2 hours. Yeah, Robot Cat. Have you never seen Robot Cat before? Would you like to see Robot Cat? We can see Robot Cat, then we can rage about it. What we're gonna do, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take a minor break, a few minutes, so people can get refreshments, you can get your stretch your legs and whatnot, and when we come back, we'll do it for the guys, we'll do it for the people who are like, Robot Cat. We'll talk about patch 5.3, then we'll go into the Siege of Orgrimmar, and then we'll finish up the storyline, what I got planned. So ladies and gentlemen, sit tight, grab a drink, grab your bestest buddies and everything else, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Talk to you later. Right, everybody. Welcome back from the break. For those that haven't caught the start of the stream, what are we doing today? Today is my first time that I ever do a Warcraft lore stream, in which I take a subject which doesn't necessarily have a yes or no answer, we discuss it, and I back it up with videos that I've done in the past. For the first one, I've chosen one that we've talked about, glimpses here and there, which is Jaina's Dreadlord, which is, don't worry, Jaina is not actually a Dreadlord, it's a joke created by Jesse Cox. But I did want to talk about the mindset that people have when it comes to Jaina, that she's crazy, that she's a bitch, that she should have never said dismantle the Horde. And I wanted to show Jaina's side of things, Jaina's side of the storyline. We've done the basic story of Jaina, we've done the events leading up to the bombing of Theramore, we've done the Purge of Dalaran, and now I was supposed to move on to the Siege of Orgrimmar, you know, finish the story up. But people were like, Robot Cat, what are you talking about? Why did the Alliance get a robot cat? So we're gonna do the story of 5.3 first. It's not really connected to Jaina, since the Alliance side just shows up and they're like, we have a robot cat. But it is a fun moment to see it, one of the more epic moments that I've ever seen in-game for the Horde. And it's one of the biggest moments that I've ever raged in a lore video. So prepare yourself for that. If you're like, why is this Alliance fanboy raging in this video? Just know that it sucked to see one of the more epic moments for the Horde and then Robot Cat for the Alliance. But you'll see it. Just gonna set it ready. It's not really connected to the subjects that we're talking about today, just know that. But you know, people requested it. So we're gonna watch it. You know, we're gonna do it. Are you ready, everybody? It is a total of, how much? 30 minutes. So prepare your butts, prepare your popcorn, prepare your drinks. Because it's gonna be a bumpy ride. Here we go, everybody. Enjoy. Hello, everyone. I already did a video on the Darkspear Rebellion lore, but that was before it was actually released. I can now show the in-game version, and I'll also go into a little bit of the lore behind it. I'll add annotations so that you can easily navigate through the parts that you've already seen. The storyline for both the Horde and the Alliance starts the same, but then splits up. It all starts with an invitation by Lore Walker Cho, who has seen some amazing things in his Dream Brew.
Eyes open.
Yeah, Dream Brew. We're just gonna skip this, everybody. This is the Alliance side.
Moments ago.
I'll just gloss over it because this has nothing to do with the whole Siege of Orgrimmar. This is just Alliance, the whole formation of the Council of Three Hammers, blah blah blah. And so it was a human king, blah blah blah. Garrosh finding the heart of Yashirash. And Melkurok being like, what the frick? Ow! Ow! We can't skip this. We can't skip this. This is my most epic voice acting ever. Enjoy.
But alas, I am just a storyteller. You, brave hero, you are strong enough to leap into the center of events as they transpire. Go now, go to Durotar. Make your mark as history unfurls around you.
Lore Walker Cho sent you to Durotar, and this is where the storyline splits up. I'll start with the Horde side of it. When you reach the Shrine of Two Moons, you see a conversation between Taranzu and Sunwalker Desko.
Taran, what have your people done? You've dredged open a scar within our sacred veil.
Lord Zu, please understand. The Orc War Chief who ordered the deed no longer speaks for the whole of the Horde. Many voices are rising up against him.
Your politics are no concern of mine. Your Horde has disrespected the sanctity of this place. You are no longer welcome here. Leave at once.
Give us the opportunity to bring Garrosh to justice.
Sunwalker, I respect your people. You have aided us in our campaign against the Shah and the Thunder King. Otherwise, I would have already ordered the Shadow Pan to purge this entire shrine. But my patience is at an end. The Horde must leave.
Please, give us time to make this right.
Very well. You have until season's end. No longer. We Pandaren are no strangers to dealing with tyrants. The coming battle will try your souls. May the Celestials guide your actions.
The digging in the Vale by the Goblins has created a huge scar in the land, and Taranzu is kicking the Horde out. Thankfully, Sunwalker Desko managed to talk him out of it, and now we have some more time to bring Garrosh to justice. When you reach Orgrimmar, you can see that the Kor'kron are taking over. The troll area is infested by them, and the troll NPCs can't talk to you right now. Gammon, however, is holding the fort like a boss. Outside the fortress, you can see many more Kor'kron marching and preparing for battle. They fortified the shorelines, trolls are being held at gunpoint, and even Warlord Zila has joined Garrosh's ranks. Warlord Zila is the current leader of the Dragonmar clan. The Horde has actually helped her become this during the Cataclysm, and it means that Garrosh has the support of Proto-Drakes. Dragonmar clan, as the name suggests, has a history with dragons and Deathwing. They used to have the Dragon Soul, and they still have the chain that was attached to the Dragon Soul, and even just the chain gives them power over dragons. You reach Sen'jin village, where Kita Aerotusk is waiting for you. He explains the situation. Walk with me. Vol'jin been seeing ya in just a moment. The war chief still believes Vol'jin be dead, slain by his Kor'kron assassin in Kunlai summit. Vol'jin survived, but he still remembered the sting of a Hellscream betrayal. Darkspear never die.
Yeah,
when Vol'jin
man.
come back to us, I saw he was changed. The light of a revolution be burning in his eyes. Now look around you. The Darkspear Rebellion begins. Hellscream's worst nightmare. The spark becomes a flame. The flame becomes a fire. The fire an inferno. We gonna burn away to the gates of Orgrimmar. But we gotta feed this war machine. Stone, wood, oil, meat. We be needing them in large supply. That's where we need you. Go speak to Vol'jin. Prepare yourself. From here on out, we be asking more of you than ever before.
Look at us three. Back to the sands of old Durotar. It'd be just like old times.
Not quite, old friend. Times have changed. The line between friend and foe is not so clear.
Times change. What is Vol'jin talking about? Well, those that have played Warcraft 3 already know this, and those who haven't yet, shame on you, and go play it as soon as you can. In Warcraft 3 The Frozen Throne, there is a bonus campaign called Founding of Durotar. In this campaign you play as Rexxar, who helps Thrall and Thrall his people with the founding of Durotar. Along the way you meet Chen Stormstout and he decides to join you.
Ah, greetings, my friend. I am Chen Stormstout, humble brewmaster of Pandaria. Perfect. Perfect! These are just what I needed. Here, try a sample of my latest creation.
What the hell is that stuff? Are you trying to kill me?
Ah, perhaps it needs some refinement. After all, we must learn to crawl before we can run. Don't you agree? Well, now that my brew is complete, I can experience more of this strange, rugged land. Would you mind if I tagged along with you, warrior?
Not at all, Chen. But my path is a perilous one.
Ah, my friend. I found that no path is too perilous when doused with strong drink. Off we go!
Later on you help Vol'jin, as his islands are under attack by Admiral Proudmoore, his fleet.
I be Vol'jin, leader of the Darkspear tribe. It be good that the war chief sent you when he did, man. Our villages already be under attack by the human fleet. We got no time to waste.
So this is how these three know each other. Vol'jin has plenty of people to fight Garrosh, but he needs supplies and you are the one to bring it to him. But this does not sit well with Garrosh and he sends Kor'kron after you.
They come! Hellscream think his own people gonna roll right over. Time to show this war chief the fury of the Darkspear!
Have a drink.
Let them run away. Hellscream will execute them as cowards if they go back.
Sinjin village is safe. Regroup! We press the advantage! Before the war chief fortifies Razor Hill, we take it for the revolution and close off the road to the barrens. Anyone who can still fight, come with me!
Wait, Vol'jin. Horde is spilling Horde blood. It's tearing me apart.
We need you, man.
I know. I trust you to lead the siege. I am needed elsewhere. I refuse to believe that all of my brethren support Garrosh. I am going to Orgrimmar, alone. Eitrigg, Saurfang, surely they are standing against Garrosh. I must find others.
You set one foot in Orgrimmar, Hellscream gonna bury a knife in your neck.
It's a risk I have to take. But if I am killed, please, watch over Agra and my boy.
I won't hear you say such things.
It has to be said, Vol'jin. If we don't make it through this, I want you to know you have always been my friend, my brother.
For the Horde.
For the Horde.
For the Horde.
Darkspear, with me! We ride! No sleep till Orgrimmar!
Such an epic moment in game this was. I was blown away by this, honestly. Blown away. It be done. Razor Hill is ours. The war chief probably see the fires all the way from Gromash Horde.
Vol'jin, you're alive. It is true then. An open rebellion against the war chief.
Dang. We be needing your support. Razor Hill be but an outpost.
The walls of Orgrimmar be fortified since the Cataclysm.
I must tread carefully. Many of my people are still within Orgrimmar.
Lorthamar be ready to strike once he finish with the Isle of Thunder, and the Banshee Queen need no excuse. But they both across the sea. Without your strength, we can't breach the city. I need Tauren arms.
We are preparing. I just need time to ensure the safety of my people. But Vol'jin... Garrosh has turned Orgrimmar into a fortress. You may need to seek out allies beyond the Horde.
Okay, just let this moment sink in, by the way, because 5.3, in my opinion, is still one of the more epic moments the Horde ever received in-game. You see Chen and Thrall and Vol'jin working together with the Zap and the double Zap. It was so cool. And then Bane coming up to Vol'jin saying, like, you must recruit help from outside of the Horde. And there was a lot of drama, for those that never caught it. There was a lot of drama back in the day during this moment. Because there was something with Vol'jin's dialogue, and you could, like, you know, question him as to why should the Alliance help him. And then Blizzard made an announcement that the Alliance is going to do some damage from within. So that they're offering their help to help out the Horde. But then they're really going to do some damage from within. Never implemented, of course. And it was just glorious. Now the next bit, for those asking, can you still do it? I think that 5.3 has been removed from the game. Like the dailies and the farming was, in my opinion, not the best, but this storyline was just awesome. Now, just let it sink in. This epic moment. Now for what the Alliance got during 5.3 for the storyline.
How fucking epic was that, guys? Vol'jin marching with Chen Stormstout and the Darkspears, Thrall and Chen blowing up Kor'kron, and you are part of all of this. I've been playing since Classic, and this is one of my new favorite moments in the game. Holy shit. My mouth was on the floor while playing through this. You bring some more resources, do an additional quest, and after that you get the Darkspear Revolutionary title. The Alliance side of the story? Well, you get the same request of going to Durotar, and you get a teleport from the Shrine of 7 Stars. You find Sully and Ember, members of the SI-7, cloaked and surveying the Kor'kron. You were given control over a spying cat, which you used to pick up documents and set a troll free. The documents tell about the trolls who are in an open rebellion, and you are sent to be the Alliance representative to open up talks with Vol'jin of the Darkspear tribe. A conversation takes place between Ember and Sully, and Ember explains that we're going to help Vol'jin so that he will be the spear that breaks open Hellscream's fortress. Let our enemies weaken one another while we wait in the wings for our chance to strike. You fly to Vol'jin carrying the banner of peace, and he requests of you to get him some resources and prove your loyalty.
Very well. You earn me trust. I will put me faith in the Alliance to do the right thing. The Darkspear and her allies will attack Orgrimmar by land, so that you can attack her by sea. It be the only way.
And that's how the...
I'll, considering that this is going up on YouTube, I'll skip the ranty part. If you want to hear me blow my top off, check out the 5.3 Darkspear Rebellion video at the end. And you can actually hear me rage like a proper little Alliance boy at the end of 5.3 for the Alliance. And I still stand with what I said back then. So this was a little bit of a sidetrack to the whole Jaina is crazy and evil bit. But it does show what the Horde has done. When was the moment that the Horde decided to step away from the War Chief and actually take action? And that was after Vol'jin had recovered from assassination and after it started to hurt the Horde itself. Which brings us to the next storyline, Siege of Orgrimmar. I'm wondering, should I do the entire thing or should I just do the end? I think we're all chilling here and we're having a good time, so I think I'm just going to show you the entire version. This is the moment after the Darkspear Rebellion. We just took Razor Hill, even though Vol'jin said no sleep till Orgrimmar. They kinda had a nap at Razor Hill. We collected our materials, we messed about with Kor'kron, and then we got around to, actually sieging Orgrimmar. So let me... Oh, that was the wrong button. Hang on, let me set it up for you, everybody. Just gotta hit that one, and that one, and that one, and that one, and that one. There you go. Enjoy, everybody. It is a total of 40 minutes. So get ready. Things are about to get heavy. Hello everyone. I already made a video about the story of the Siege of Orgrimmar, but that was when it was still on the PTR and a couple of you requested if I could show you the live version. I managed to record the raid for both sides and, well, I hope you enjoy it. Just a heads up, there will be minor spoilers for the next expansion of World of Warcraft, but nothing really major. Let's begin, shall we? Garrosh has made himself a target for both the Alliance and the Horde, and Vol'jin took the first steps against him with the Darkspear Rebellion. Now the time has come to kick Garrosh out of the mantle of Warchief and lay siege to Orgrimmar. The story, however, does not begin in Orgrimmar, it begins in the Vale of Eternal Blossoms, where Garrosh has found the heart of Y'Shaarj.
It thirsts. Bring it to the pools.
Run rampant for far too long, Hellscream. But that stops now.
Step aside, Pandaren. You confront a force beyond reckoning.
Your father dabbled in powers beyond reckoning. Where is he now? Beside the Tauren, trolls, and others. You are nothing like them!
They are no longer part of my horde!
The world will hear of this. They will come for you.
Yes, I'm counting on it. The armies of the world will come for me. And within my fortress, they will face all the terrible creatures I have wrought. The boundless power I have mastered. And one by one, they will fall at my feet. Anyone who would rise against my new horde will be impaled upon the spires of Orgrimmar! You Pandaren tried to bury your hate and your anger. But such power cannot be contained. It must be unleashed!
Time will come when you will answer for your crimes.
I answer to no one! All who challenge me will burn in the fires of my hatred.
He placed the heart in the sacred waters of the Vale, causing an explosion and a gigantic scar throughout the Vale. This has corrupted the Vale, corrupted the water, and destroyed the Golden Pagoda. This act was such an act of arrogance that it gave the Shah of Pride the power needed to manifest, and the 7th Shah has arrived. We set out to clean up after Garrosh, otherwise all of Pandaria will suffer. The raid starts in the unearthed lower section of Mokshan Palace, in the Vale of Eternal Blossoms, named the Pools of Power.
We adventure together again.
Except this time, I am afraid the circumstances are much more dire. The land is scarred. The ever-blooming trees and plants wither and die as the water from the pools drains away. It is these waters that kept the Vale in bloom. Their runoff into the Valley of the Four Winds created the most fertile farmland in the world. And now, the malignance of the old god has manifested itself within the waters. Such a foul, foul thing. Destroy it, before it seeps deep into the soil and corrupts all of Pandaria. Oh, yes. You have done it. The waters are pure once more. Can you feel their life-giving energies flow through you? It will take much time for the Vale to heal, but you have given us hope. Can it be? Oh no. No, no, no! The Golden Lotus? But they pledged their lives to defend this place. You? Rook knows you. Oh, yes, Rook Stonetoe. You remember me. What has happened to you? Rook doesn't know. Hair is cloudy.
We know only despair now. A fitting punishment for our failure.
I see. This Shaw energy has trapped their spirits here to endlessly relive their failure. It feeds on their despair. Please, help. This is a fate far worse than death. Please, heroes, set their souls free.
Rook Stonetoe, he Softfoot, and some Tenderheart's lives were taken by the blast that scarred the Vale, but the corruption has taken their souls and is now tormenting them eternally by reliving their failure. It's up to us to defeat their spirits and give them peace.
Be at peace, dear friends. May your souls become one with the land you gave your life to protect.
After killing more of the Shah, we encounter Nuroshen, the Titanic Watcher who was watching the container of Yasharaj. We don't fight him directly, instead he's actually helping us.
In the chamber ahead, under our peaceful land, slept the heart of an old god. Halt! Oh my, what is this? Hello, I am Lord Walker Cho.
No further corruption will enter the Heart Chamber.
Further corruption? Oh no, we are here to stop the corruption and save Pandaria.
You wish to purge the corruption?
Yes, please let us pass.
Should you pass this door at this time, you would fail. You, all of you, are corrupted with the insidious plague known as pride. You stand tall and proud atop your accomplishments, and this will be your downfall. Should you wish to defeat the corruption, you will first need to purify the corruption within yourselves. Speak to me again when you are prepared to face your inner demons. But be warned, what lies beyond will try your souls to their utmost. When you are fully prepared, you may enter the chamber.
Once we've cleansed ourselves from the corruption, it's time for the Shah of Pride encounter, who is spawned in the chamber where we first found the container. Taranzu managed to survive his battle with Garrosh, and he even survived the explosion.
Taranzu. Joe, the outsiders. They did this. We should never have let them in.
Lorewalker Cho takes Taranzu away, and Nuroshen aids us in the battle against the Shah of Pride by granting us the power of the Titans. That is, until the Shah reaches 30% health. At that point he unleashes and instantly kills Nuroshen. Now it's up to us to face him alone, and upon his defeat, either Jaina or Lorfmar come out to take the heroes to Orgrimmar.
So Hellscream's arrogance unleashed the last of the Shah. I am not surprised.
Look here. He left his weapon behind.
Gore howl.
Gore howl.
This means he's completely unhinged.
News to no one, Regent Lord. King Rin's fleet is converging on Orgrimmar as we speak.
Likewise, Sylvanas and I have both sent ships to support Vol'jin's revolution.
I'm warning you, Lorthamar. The Alliance is besieging the city, and we will destroy Hellscream. Your people had best stay out of our way.
It is always a pleasure to see you, Lady Proudmoore.
Come, heroes! Through the portal! The siege of Orgrimmar begins!
Champions, come with me. It's time to settle grievances with our war chief.
When you do the raid on normal or heroic difficulty, then you won't instantly teleport to Orgrimmar. Instead you have the option to go with the troops on the boat, and there a conversation takes place with either Jaina or Sylvanas.
High King, I've brought reinforcements.
You heroes are a sight for sore eyes. Vol'jin's rebellion wasn't able to secure the bay. We're taking a pounding.
I can open a portal to the docks, large enough to get a strike team through.
Do it. Once the area is clear, we'll make landfall. Champions, I'm counting on you.
Garrosh really has gone all out this time, hasn't he? I expected more spikes, honestly.
Bladefist Bay is fortified. By the Sunwell, we're getting slaughtered. Heroes, port over to the docks and take out their shore defenses. Put a stop to this bloodshed.
I can raise your dead, Regent Lord. Your rangers can fight again.
Sylvanas, you will leave our corpses alone, or I will deal with you here and now.
I'm sorry to see your lack of commitment. What of the human corpses?
Well, I suppose that's between you and the Alliance, isn't it?
Rise, my angels. Let your screams fill the streets of Orgrimmar with terror.
Sylvanas has the most interesting conversation, since she offers to raise blood elves from the dead, and Lorfmar is not having it. It's unsure if she actually has the power to do so, or if she was just bluffing, but it does suggest that Sylvanas is moving closer and closer to the point of, for example, the Lich King. If anyone remembers her conversation with Garrosh.
Agatha, show the war chief.
Have done here, Sylvanas. It goes against the laws of nature. Disgusting is the only word I have to describe it.
War Chief, without these new Forsaken, my people would die out. Our hold upon Gilneas and Northern Lordaeron would crumble.
Have you given any thought to what this means, Sylvanas? What difference is there between you and the Lich King now?
Isn't it obvious, War Chief? I serve the Horde.
Watch your clever mouth, bitch.
What would happen when she no longer serves the Horde? There is an obvious story to tell, but they've already said that they won't deal with Sylvanas in Warlords of Draenor. It's a shame though, I think they should have dealt with Sylvanas 2 expansions ago and they're just postponing that moment, keeping her as an obvious threat to both factions. It's future talk though, like they said, they don't want to deal with Sylvanas just yet, so let's go back to the siege and talk about the most interesting lore things. We start the siege from the Bladefist Bay, where the Alliance and Horde fleets are trying to reach the land. The Darkspear Rebellion was unable to secure the bay, and Warlord Zayla, the Dragonmaw and her Protodrake are the next target to kill. Zayla's Protodrake is named Galagras, the last blood of Galagrond, and Galagrond was a huge Protodrake, who we believe to be the first of all the dragons. Dawn of the Aspects revealed that this is not true, but still Galagrond was one hell of a badass. We shoot Galagras out of the sky with their own towers, and we defeat him. Warlord Zayla herself did survive the siege, and she will be part of Warlords of Draenor.
Finally, I will never get all of this dust out of my robes.
Oh, you're still here? I had kind of hoped you had perished. You would make a very attractive corpse.
I will take that as a compliment. We'll hold the docks for now and marshal the forces. Vol'jin should await you at the gates of Orgrimmar.
Yogurt.
If he's not dead.
With the base secure, we move on to the gates, where the Iron Juggernaut awaits.
Our casualties are too heavy.
Don't be foolish, Vol'jin! You have no siege weapons left! You cannot win this battle!
Ain't no other way, man. We gotta stop Garrosh here and now! Else we'll be running the risk of our lives.
Defeated my war machine, but the gate still stands. You will not take Orgrimmar today.
Anudora!
We're not here for you, troll! We're here for Kalimdor!
Run! To the gates! Now!
At them, my sisters! For Kalimdor! Don't think we're here to save you, troll. We're here for Kalimdor. Get forces inside the gates, while we distract the enemy.
After the Night Elves break down the gates, we find out exactly how far Garrosh and his horde have taken this. Survivors from Theramore who were sent away in boats are found caged.
Notice, by the way, before the bombing of Theramore, Garrosh amassed an army and got them ready in order to draw out as many of the Alliance leaders as he could, so he could send the bomb and instantly wipe them all out. Some of these civilians were sent away to, they were not ready to defend the city, so they were sent away in boats, but they didn't get far. Garrosh captured them, forced them to fight with each other, and well, you can see it on the screen what happened to them.
Used for target practice or even forced to fight each other. Trolls also used for target practice. Goblins who were forced to dance, and some orcs who did not agree with Garrosh were forced to hide. G. Firepaw, Pandaren representative for the Horde, has been beaten nearly unconscious as they're trying to get information out of him about the Pandaren artifacts.
Oh, G, I am so sorry. We can be together now. Please, let us just go back to the turtle. Please do not die. I am getting him out of here.
Gammon, once the punching bag of the Horde, stood up against the Corcron, but in the end even he was tied down to a tree.
This ends here. I, Gammon, will save us.
The warlock trainers of the Horde powers Garrosh and his troops despise, nearly all of them killed and hang up as a display as a warning to anyone who dares to dabble with fell magic.
The war chief ignored my counsel. I discovered he was building a compound beneath the caverns of Ragefire. Thrall and Sourfang have already gone down below. Go with caution. Hellscream has been assembling an arsenal down there. Goblin mercenaries, Pandaren artifacts, and some sort of darkness I can feel in my very soul.
These two dark shamans are called Harom and Kardis Dreamseeker, who both have been shaman trainers for a very long time. The difference between normal shamans and dark shamans is that shamans ask the elements for their aid. Dark shamanism forces the elements into servitude, twisting them into burned out ash, corrupted waters, or even toxic air.
The true Horde takes what it wants.
I can hear them no longer.
The elements. What have we done?
After taking care of the dark shamans, you have the option of freeing Gammon, and if you do, he will aid you in the next battle. A fight against an orc who remained loyal to his warchief despite everything.
I am Nazareth, chief and general of the Horde army. I must die today. I will die with honor in battle for the Horde! I regret what I must do.
General Hellscream will hold the line for his warchief until his dying breath. I'm not sure if Gammon survives the siege, I couldn't find an official ruling on it, but I would imagine that he did. If you do the achievements, Gammon will survive, and usually when they give an option like that, lore-wise it means that the character survived.
I die with honor. Look, God. Oh God.
After Hellscream, we kill a whole bunch of Korkron and even Melkorok. Melkorok was Garrosh Hellscream's bodyguard and chief advisor, and for his loyalty, he has been rewarded with a portion of the power from the heart of Yasharaj. It's interesting to note that it looks like he cut off his own arm and replaced it with a weapon. This is similar to what the orcs from the Shattered Hand clan did, but that's besides the point.
To die for the war chief is an honor.
After his fight, we reach the Korkron barracks where we open the gates for the rest of the troops to come in.
Our lines are holding, but Vol'jin's rebels are taking a beating.
The Korkron are making a push for this compound. They're not giving up.
We'll post up here with some troops, scout on ahead, and see if you can flush Garrosh out of hiding.
Garrosh been concealed in a whole hidden base. Where did his lust for power take him?
We will soon find out. He is cornered like a rat in one of these corridors. What should we do next?
Bane, you and your warriors hold this junction. These heroes should forge ahead and flush the war chief out of hiding.
What about you?
People be dying up above. The city is in chaos. I'm gonna finish it. Stop the bloodshed. I'll come back for ya.
Very well.
It's gonna be fine, Bane. We're gonna find Thrall. Gonna kill the war chief. Gonna avenge your father.
Earth Mother, protect you, Vol'jin.
Darkspear never die.
If you're Horde, you'll have to clear the rest of the way yourself. For the Alliance, the gnomes come to the rescue.
Deploy the gear! Establish a perimeter!
And this was the most epic moment for the gnomes in the game. Unfortunately.
Oh, hello, friends. We've just about secured the surface. Looks like the real fight's going to be down here. Don't worry, we've got your back! Forge ahead, brave heroes!
The Spoils of Pandaria is the next encounter in the siege, where you destroy the spoils that Garrosh found in Pandaria. It's not a really interesting fight lore-wise, but the one after that, the one against Tok the Bloodthirsty, is rather interesting. Tok is a pet brought back to Orgrimmar from Pandaria, and you can open 3 cages during this fight, and each cage holds a different prisoner. You have Water Speaker Gorai, who was part of a questline in Kunlai Summit, Akolik, a Saurok who we've seen before on the Isle of Thunder, and you have Warmaster Montauk, which I don't remember seeing before, but I might have missed it. I personally thought adding NPCs that we've seen before, that we've interacted with, that we've quested with, I thought it was a really nice touch. Next up is Siegecrafter Blackfuse, where either the goblins of the dwarves pop up and try to help out.
So Garrosh thinks he can cheat old Grizzle out of a payday, huh? Oh, hey now, what do we have here?
Oh, look, you're the ones that smashed up my juggernaut. Let's see how you like the newest addition to the War Chief's arsenal, the Iron Star.
Go get it, boys!
Fun fact, Siegecrafter Blackfuse, he had blueprints, which Garrosh took with him to Draenor, which is why the Iron Horde upgraded the arsenal. Things like the Fel Reaver that you find in Hellfire Citadel were also designed after Blackfuse his plans, and they later returned to Siege of Orgrimmar to collect these. Just a little side note.
That contraption's got nothing on real goblin engineering. Oh, maybe it does. I better, go check on the others.
Oh, that was a fun ride. Heroes, I salute you. There's something right foul in these chambers below the city.
Oh, look, you're the ones that smashed up my juggernaut. Let's see how you like the newest addition to the War Chief's arsenal, the Iron Star.
Ooh, that looks dangerous. Get in there, boys, and show him what we're made of. Alright, deadly machine that is. Best watch your step down here, heroes.
Agron, show him who's boss!
Blackfuse himself doesn't have much lore behind him, a goblin with the combination of engineering prowess, professionalism and ruthlessness to satisfy Garrosh in his search for the engineer of the true Horde. What is interesting is that Garrosh will take his blueprints with him in Warlords of Draenor, and the Iron Horde will have access to the technology that we've seen in the siege. So for example these Iron Star weapons, or anything that Blackfuse could craft, like these gigantic cannons on the back of the Gron, those were his blueprints, and Garrosh has taken them with him. Or at least he's going to.
Don't think you've won. My legacy will live on.
Anyways, that's future expansion talk, and next we'll make our way to the Paragons of the Klaxi, and if you're Alliance you'll have to clear the tunnel yourself. For the Horde, Thrall and Saurfang already did most of the work.
Ah, more of Vol'jin's revolutionaries. You've made it. Have you found Thrall? I am badly hurt. He insisted on going ahead alone. Tell me, how goes the battle up above? What of Nazgrim? Speak to me. Ah, Nazgrim. a great leader and a fine warrior. He valued his oath to the war chief more than his life. I tried to tell him that Hellscream betrayed us, cast aside a war chief's responsibility to his own people. But Nazgrim, too loyal, too proud. Damn Hellscream. His ambition tore our horde apart. Go on, find Thrall. Finish this. I will live.
With the path cleared, it's time to face the Paragons of the Cluxy. These are the same guys that we released from the Ember in the Dread Wastes, and the same guys who had some trouble with their queen. They did warn us though, so it shouldn't be a surprise to see them at Yasharah's side.
I tell you now, because you have earned this warning. If the Old Ones ever return, we Mantid will once again stand by their side. The wisest among you will do the same.
And now, with the heart in Garrosh's possession, the Paragons stand at his side. They try to defend the heart from the children of the Titans, but ultimately they fail.
Well fought, Awakener. We will meet again.
Which brings us to the final encounter, Garrosh Hellscream himself.
It is not too late, Garrosh. Lay down the mantle of War Chief. We can end this here, now, with no more bloodshed.
Do you remember nothing of honor, of glory on a battlefield? You who would parley with the humans, who allowed warlocks to practice their dark magics right under our feet. You are weak. We are the Orcish Horde, the true Horde. We die, bloody and thrashing on the field of battle, like true orcs should. You are an orc no longer, and speak for none but yourself. You betrayed our people to forge your fragile alliances, and I will take great pleasure in tearing them apart.
Then you have forced my hand. I will correct the mistake I made long ago. Spirits of the wind, the earth, the water, hear my call! Come to my aid!
Fool! My dark shaman have twisted and tortured the elements for miles around. They cannot hear you now. Once again, you prove too weak and powerless to do anything.
Guess you wish you did it on Renner, eh, Garrosh?
Garrosh. And never alone.
So, you wish to face off against a real orc war chief. So be it.
Garrosh has abandoned Gorhal and now relies on the strength from the heart of Yasharaj. He occasionally drags you into the realm of Yasharaj, where the old god himself will whisper in your ears.
See the visions of fear, despair, and doubt as I have.
I can taste the essence of your soul. It is sweet.
When you do the encounter on heroic mode, then you will get an extra phase which comes with a vision. The vision Garrosh has seen for the world. His world for his horde.
Behold! My glorious destiny! Cannot end like this. What I have seen.
After a long battle, Warchief Garrosh is finally defeated. Time for the Alliance and Horde to do what must be done. Okay, first of all, chat room, I love you guys. You make me laugh so very, very much. So before you watch this cinematic, let's recap real quick. Jaina lost nearly everything to Garrosh and those that stood at his side. Varian and the Alliance apparently allied themselves to Vol'jin's rebellion to do some damage from within, to be the spearhead against the siege of Orgrimmar. And now we've come to the final conclusion. The war chief of the Horde is on his knees, right? This is the moment where the Alliance is a united juggernaut and the Horde just had to deal with an internal conflict, with a... I kind of lost the word for it right now. Let's just put it internal conflict. This is the moment where, you know, what do you do from Jaina's point of view? What do you do from an Alliance point of view? Do you let a faction that just threaten to wipe you out, taunt you to the siege of Orgrimmar, countless lives has been lost to siege Orgrimmar? What do you do with such a faction? Civil war, that was the word I was looking for. Thank you, everybody. What do you do in such a moment? Well, Varian and Jaina have very different opinions about that.
You disappoint me, Garrosh. You are not worthy of your father's legacy.
His punishment is not for you alone to decide.
I won't let you take him.
We have all suffered from his atrocities. My people, more than any other. Let him stand trial in Pandaria. There, we will mete out justice for all. The Horde needs its true war chief, now more than ever.
Yes, but it was you that held the Horde together during this madness. It was you that protected our honor. From this day forward, Vol'jin, if you lead, I will follow.
I am not worthy. But I will give my all for the Horde.
Ugh, look at them. Already they plot against us. Seize this moment, Varian. Dismantle the Horde.
Don't poop, pussy,
God's
Varian.
men!
Father, what are you doing?
What a king must do. I will speak to your war chief. I speak for the Horde. Very well. The Horde has committed heinous crimes, Vol'jin. But some among you fought against Garrosh's tyranny. For that, I am willing to end this bloodshed. But know this. If your Horde fails to uphold honor as Garrosh did, we will end you.
We will end you if the Horde doesn't uphold honor like Garrosh did. Really? Which is basically, if you think about it, let me turn on my camera, by the way, because the video is done. Which basically means that Varian just gave permission to the Horde, like, you know, you can kill us if you want, just don't use any more mana bombs, because if I ever catch you with a mana bomb again, we will end you.
Killing us, perfectly fine. Mana bomb, that's a no-no. And especially when you look at what they did with Ashtaran, right? That's the next expansion, Warlords of Draenor. Ashtaran is basically Alliance looking for an artifact to fight against the Iron Horde. And then the Horde is like, hey, wait a minute. They're looking for an artifact. They might use it against us, so let's kill them now and attack them now before they'll use it against us. Like, yeah, like, why? But regardless, this is the moment, and I just saw it. I just saw it in the chat room as well. Jaina says, dismantle the Horde, and chat room blows up with that bitch, how dare she? But that's the point that I'm trying to make. Like, try to see it from Jaina's perspective. The Horde did some terrible things to her. Not just Garrosh, not individuals. The Horde as a whole did some very terrible things to her. Especially when you look at what she has done to, to bring peace to the world. And somebody said, you don't understand, we still need to play the game. Of course I understand. Of course I do. There will always be an alliance and a Horde, and there will always be us against each other. Sure, you cannot realistically dismantle the Horde, because what are you gonna do with them? Tell the Horde player base to fuck off, to no longer subscribe and find a different game to play? No, of course not. But as writers, Blizzard should realize what kind of story they're writing. We're talking about the story here, and it's not a story that's set in stone. It's something that they create. So we already knew that during Mr. Pandaria, we already knew that this storyline was not gonna come to a good conclusion, because there are just game factors that will always be there, and yeah. Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me, right? So, from a Jaina's perspective, in my opinion, I find it very realistic what Jaina says in that moment, and I find Varian very unrealistic to say, like, okay, we're just gonna walk away now, we just did the Siege of Orgrimmar, we're gonna walk away, but next time if I ever catch you with a mana bomb again, we're gonna get you. That's not realistic. And dismantle, a lot of people were like, Jaina wants to instantly murder the whole Horde, but dismantle doesn't necessarily mean draw your sword and start decapitating people. It could also mean force the Horde to no longer work together. And again, I know this is not realistic for game purposes, but if you're looking at the storyline, what if dismantle means, okay, we have the Horde. We know that the Tauren are pretty chill. We know that the Blood Elves were about to join the Alliance. We know that, who else do you have on the Horde side? Trolls could also join the Alliance. What if they pick those factions, merge them within the Alliance? Forsaken, I don't really see happening. Goblins, yeah, Goblins care about gold, have already worked with Alliance in the past, so why not? So you split them off from the Forsaken, from Sylvanas. And I know people are gonna be like, oh my god, she said something negative about Sylvanas. She's undead. She's rezzing the dead. Even Garrosh called her out on it. She doesn't play nice. Even during the Siege of Orgrimmar, she was like, yeah, you know what? We could resurrect them. We could bring them back to life. So Jaina doesn't play nice in that regard. So that could have been that could have what Jaina meant with dismantle. Or just separate them and force them to no longer become one faction, one gigantic threat against the world. So yeah. Those are, that's why I say that what Jaina said in that moment, sure, as a Horde player, I would also be like, what the fuck is that bitch saying to me now? She's saying dismantle my faction? Screw you, Jaina, but from her story side, I can definitely agree. Then we have, let's see, what else did I want to talk about? Oh yeah, we have War Crimes. And War Crimes, it gave a little bit more development in this storyline. But I'll actually quote the book, since I don't believe I actually quoted this in a video that I can show you. This is during the trial, as Jaina takes the stand, and they talk about the events with the bombing of Theramore. Tyrande is questioning Jaina after they just witnessed the bombing of Theramore, and she's asking what's going on. And here we go. Lady Jaina, you also later discovered that had you released the tidal wave, you would have destroyed the Alliance fleets. Would you say that is the reason you were glad you refrained? Jaina did not answer immediately. She gave the question the consideration it was due. Of course, I was relieved to hear that I hadn't inadvertently wiped out the fleet, but no, that wasn't why I was glad. She looked at Garrosh, and there her gaze remained. I am glad I refrained, because I would never, ever want to be like him. Later, Bane would think that Tyrande should have accepted that, but the Night Elf could not leave well enough alone. Jaina was Tyranda's final, best witness. The accuser would henceforth be confined to follow-up questioning, and it was clear she wanted to end on a strong note. And so, she asked one question too many. Or, like the Horde? Jaina went very still. Tyranda waited. After a moment, she prompted, "Lady Jaina, my question was, do you wish to never, ever be like the Horde?" And Jaina, battered, angry, wounded, devastated, honest Jaina, replied simply, "The Horde isn't Garrosh." So even someone like Jaina, that at the end of the siege said we should dismantle the Horde, even Jaina Proudmoore realized that Garrosh is the war chief of the Horde, but the Horde itself isn't Garrosh. And that's the storyline that they try to tell with Mr. Pandaria, that the Horde is a family, Thrall and Vol'jin standing up against Garrosh. And she made that realization even during the trial, which I thought was a very, very nice conclusion. Now, during Warlords of Draenor, we still saw her in the whole legendary questline to Khadgar, like, be careful that you work with the Horde, Khadgar, that is not a good thing to do, because they will betray you. And again, I ask, can you blame them? No. Or can you blame her? No, not really, not with her history. And now in Legion, they said that Jaina is going to be no longer, what do you call it? Leading Dalaran, leading the Khirman Tor. It's going to be Khadgar that is leading now, and Jaina is going to be pissed. She's going to walk away, and I wonder how that's going to play out. Is Jaina pissed that Khadgar accepted the help from the Sunreavers, from the Horde and Alliance? Most likely. But that would kind of conflict with what she said at the end of War Crimes. Like, it seemed like at the end of War Crimes she was, you know, she was kind of chill with the Horde. She was like, the Horde, no, it's not everybody. Garrosh does not mean Horde. And then, you know, it's been a roller coaster all around. And yeah, I think we're there. So in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, of this little lore stream, I find Jaina not to be crazy at the end of Siege of Orgrimmar. I find her response there the most realistic. And yeah, I can also understand the Horde's reaction, of course, because if somebody says like they want to dismantle my faction. But that's just my opinion. Like I said at the start, there's no yes or no answer in this. Everybody has their own opinions, and that what makes the world special, that what makes the world beautiful. And I love different opinions, man. It's just, you know, I wish I could invite all 3,000 of y'all and just sit here and just talk with each other. But, you know, that would be a mess. That would be a mess. Yeah. Mana bombs can't melt steel beams. Right. Let me wrap this up for the YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen on the YouTube, thank you very much for joining me on this very first lore podcast. I think it's been a great success. I think a lot of people enjoyed it. At least I hope they enjoyed it. For next time, if you have any topics that you would like to see discussed, leave a comment down below or send me a tweet or a message on Facebook. And I might do this again. And we might make another little stream and a script and watch some videos together. It was a lot of fun.